fish with the biggest secret in the universe. Come, let us continue the story of Matsya the fish. Because the fate of the universe was now resting upon a king who had absolutely no idea what he had just been recruited for the most important mission of history. Vishnu had his plan. Hayagriva was hiding somewhere in the unfathomable depths of the cosmic ocean with the stolen Vedas. The gods were anxiously waiting for the next move. And meanwhile, completely unaware that any of this was happening, King Satyavrata Manu was standing knee-deep in a quiet river performing his morning prayers exactly as he had done countless times before. Now, I do not admire routines. They give one the comforting illusion that today shall resemble yesterday and tomorrow shall resemble today. And unfortunately for Manu, the universe had other plans. Having completed his prayer, Manu bent down, cupped a handful of clean river water in his palms and prepared to offer it back to the river as an act of reverence. But just as he was about to let the water slip through his fingers, he felt something wriggle. Not dramatically, not monstrously, just wiggle. Manu frowned. He looked down into his hands, and there, swimming the tiny pool of water trapped between his palms, was the smallest fish you could imagine. It couldn't have been much longer than a finger. It blinked. Manu blinked back. Now, under ordinary circumstances, this would have been the end of a very short story. One finds a fish, one blinks at it, one returns the fish. Everyone carries on with their own life. End of story. Instead, the fish spoke. My king. Manu froze. Please don't put me back. Now, if you've ever been politely addressed by a fish before, allow me to assure you that this is not an experience most people are prepared for. In fact, I imagine Manu spent the next few moments wondering whether he'd accidentally been fasting a little too enthusiastically. I'm sorry, he said cautiously. Did you just speak? Yes. You are a fish, I've noticed. And fish generally don't talk. They usually don't. The fish sighed. I wish we'd stop getting distracted by the obvious. The bigger fish are about to eat me. Well, that was an unexpectedly practical answer. Now, not I'm a divine being, not the universe is in danger, just please don't let me become breakfast. And honestly, that's a fairly convincing argument. Manu smiled. You're safe. He carefully carried the tiny fish home and placed it inside a clay water pot. There, he said, no larger fish here. The fish looked around the pot. It's cozy. I'll take that as a compliment. Now, if this had been an ordinary fish, everything would have ended quite peacefully. It was not. And the next morning, Manu returned with fresh water and nearly dropped the pot. The fish had grown. Not by a little. Not by the sort of amount that makes you wonder whether your memory is playing tricks on you. It had somehow become so large that it was practically folded inside the pot like an unfortunate traveller trying to sleep in a bed 2 sizes too small. My king, the fish said with considerable embarrassment, I appear to have created another problem. I can see that. I sincerely apologize. You apologize a great deal. I try to be polite. Manu laughed despite himself. Very well. He carried the fish outside and gently lowered it into a nearby pond. There, he said, dusting off his hands with the quiet satisfaction of a man convinced he had solved the problem once and for all. Surely, this is enough. The fish swam happily in wide circles. I must admit, yes, this is much nicer. I thought so too. Problem solved. Or so Manu believed. Unfortunately, the fish had developed a rather inconvenient habit of making confident statements completely untrue within the next 24 hours. Because when Manu returned the following morning, well, you can guess, the pond looked smaller. Not because the pond had shrunk. Ponds, to the best of my knowledge, rarely do that. The fish had simply become enormous. Its tail occupied one end, its head occupied the other. And every time it turned around, I suspect half the pond briefly wondered whether it was experiencing an unusually vigorous earthquake. The fish smiled sheepishly. Good morning. Manu folded his arms. You've done it again. I'm afraid I have. You've outgrown an entire pond. I was rather hoping I wouldn't. Now, I don't know what you would have done at this point, but I imagine most people would have begun asking extremely sensible questions, such as, who are you? How are you doing this? or should I be concerned? Manu, however, was a remarkably compassionate man. He simply sighed. Very well. You aren't angry? I'm confused. That's understandable. But confused people can still be helpful. I like that about Manu. The world could do with a few more people who remain kind even when they don't understand what's happening. No lectures, no grand speeches. He simply acted. Together, with the help of his attendants, Manu escorted that gigantic fish to a vast lake, and I can only imagine the expressions on the faces of everyone who happened to witness this extraordinary procession. One farmer probably rubbed his eyes. Another undoubtedly decided that asking questions was simply too much effort before breakfast. And somewhere, I guarantee you, there was an old gentleman who confidently announced, I knew this would happen. He did not. Old gentlemen have been claiming they knew it all along since the beginning of time. The fish splashed happily into the lake. Thank you, my king, Manu smiled. I trust this will finally be enough. The fish looked around thoughtfully. I certainly hope so. Now, if you believe that is the end of the fish's growing problem, then I have some very large news for you. By tomorrow, the lake itself would become too small. And that was the moment when Manu would finally stop asking, how is this possible? And begin asking the much more important question, who are you?